Sparking Change with Gigi, a show that aims to make the world a better place by bringing together authentic minds. This show encourages each of us to be the change we wish to see in the world. Get ready to be inspired and join us on this journey to create a brighter future for all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sparking Change with Gigi. I am your host, Giovanna Torrone, and today I have an amazing show lined up for you guys because I am going to introduce to you 7 amazing people who got together to share their message on how do we get unhacked. If you think you're hacked, you need to watch this episode because they're going to share their story on how to really tap into your true potential and really put you in control of your life. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce my dear friends from the Napoleon Hill Institute. Albert Whale, welcome.
Thank you.
Tina Gray, welcome. Let's see. Ahmed Bahan, welcome. Hande Etienne, welcome.
Hi.
We got Lefford. Where are you? Welcome, Lefford. You're no stranger here to my show. We got John Corbellini, welcome.
Hi.
And Phil, welcome. You're no stranger either, Phil Conway. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. And today is really a show that is really meant to help my audience and the viewers really understand how can we get unhacked in order to really live our best life. So I'm going to bring on first Albert to share with us. Albert, you created this project, and just a little bit of insight about you, your project, and your message.
Sure. So the book is called Getting Unhacked. And the only thing that I wanted to add about your introduction was there are 8 authors here.
Oh, I know.
You're not
I said 7 people here.
Everybody already knows you, but we all came together being coaches with Napoleon Hill Institute. And everyone that has joined in this journey has remarked about how incredible it has been for them all in the lessons to create their own chapter. I wrote my chapter about my own personal journey in development starting several years ago. And what I've been able to accomplish in just the last 2 years was the publication of 4 books, which a lot of people say, that's just incredible. And my grandson's in the other room. He's like, I thought you only wrote 2. It's like, no, I wrote 4.
Tell us your message, Albert. Tell us your message about this book that you want to share with everyone.
So the message that we're delivering, or at least my message, is that you can change your own reality based on what it is that you're looking to accomplish. Set your goals high, because that will help motivate you and utilize your subconscious mind to help drive your progress forward towards we're going to call it a C-level goal. If you write out 10 or 20 goals, there's going to be different levels of goals, A level, B level, and of course, what you think might be unobtainable, the C level. If you've done something before and you want to do it again, that's an A level goal. If you want to do something that's slightly different, but you know that if this happens and this happens and this happens and this happens, that could happen then for you. That's a B level goal. But when you pick something that's way out of reach and you have no idea how that's going to be accomplished, that's a C level goal. That's the goal that you want to reach to, because all of the goals that you have brought up already for A and B level, those will all get solved and resolved and be completed while you journey on to the C-level goal. So I wrote about a little bit, how do we change our mindset, and how do I get my mind oriented to help me accomplish these goals. That's what my chapter's about.
Thank you, Albert. That's beautiful. And absolutely, we need goals in our lives. Otherwise, we don't have a direction that we are aiming for, right? So thank you so much. Ahmed, your turn. Welcome.
Thank you, Sister Giovanna. And thank you, Brother Albert, once more for bringing us all together. Well, I want to start by saying that I saw a meme, and I like to quote it here, that I'll never believe another atom again. They just make up everything, right? But if we go down to the subatomic particles, what is an atom comprised of? Or is it composed of? You got the protons and neutrons in the center, and you have electrons floating around it. Now, here's the thing, that 99% of an atom is hollow. So what is real? What is there that gives it its shape and form? There was a person by the name of Max Planck who stated, he said, there is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particle of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. We must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter. Now, I like to consider the matrix as God. But here's the thing. The substance of the universe is not matter. The substance of the universe is consciousness. Now, it's true what Napoleon Hill stated, I like to take it as my truth as well, is that you are a minute expression of the divine that's been individualized. Now, my chapter is about spiritual alignment and transcendence. And I feel that the major issue with everybody of why they are hacked is because they are disconnected from their higher self or from their divine self, if you would like to call it. But the substance of the universe, since it's consciousness, it usually responds to your predominant mental attitude. If your thoughts and feelings and actions are aligned, it's your behavior that dictates. And your behavior stems from the conditioning that you have in your subconscious mind. You want to change your conditions? Change your conditioning within you. Remember, you're a living projector and you're a living tuning fork. Everything is on a frequency. There are many different frequencies. As Bob always stated, he said there is no line of demarcation from which one frequency begins and another one ends. Everything is just conjoined and connected. You can move up on this frequency or go down based on your emotions and the state of being you're in. But that also, your behavior that you're in a state at all times. Now, I want you to understand that God is all about love. God is love and love is God. Now, why do I say love? Because when Bob always used to say, fall in love with the idea, you need to get emotionally involved with that idea. Why is that? Because when your heart opens up, you accept the thing into your consciousness. Now, as I said, the substance of the universe is consciousness. So if we need anything more of, you need to first establish it within your consciousness. Then you project it out to the world. But not until you are in alignment and attunement with the divine. Why? That is the source of all creation. This is the foundation. This is the source of all power. He's a sustainer and the provider. It's a limitless source of supply. Especially when even the things of which you don't have, if you can conceive it in your mind, and God has given you the capacity to conceive it, thank Him for it as if you have received it. There is an intelligent way to pray. And you pray from the wish fulfilled by saying a sincere gratitude for that you have received all the blessings that you wanted. But the thing is, it's your habits and it's your responsibility. Nobody can change your world for you except yourself. This is a condition upon every human being that is living until this point. Then
I
you
love
have the
that.
power of intention.
Thank you.
Decision is there, but remember, hold on with that intention in faith. And believe me, there is unseen forces that will carry on to bring the thing you want closer to you, where you just need to take 1 or 2 steps in order to receive it.
Beautiful. So the first step to getting unhacked is really reconnect to the power and the source and the creator. Thank you. Lovely message.
Thank you.
Tina, welcome.
Hi, welcome everybody. So before we delve into my chapter or overview of my short chapter, I wanted just to express my absolute gratitude for being part of this book. Thank you, Alba, and all of these incredible authors that we've all come together with our collective wisdom and knowledge and expertise just for you. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity. So I'm a hypnotherapist. I'm also an NHI coach, a speaker, and I've had a transformation in my life from following these principles, which I didn't know about these principles or Napoleon Hill when I first started on this journey, as many of us don't. But what I really love is changing people's perception of themselves. Now, I believe the only words that truly matter are the words that we say to ourselves. And I'm sure some of you may or may not be aware that we create 65,000 thoughts a day. Now, how many of those thoughts are actually in line with our goals, with our passion, our potential, our desires, what you truly want? Now, I'm sure some of you guys can absolutely connect with something in your past that may have changed that perception. If you think of us when we're babies, we come into this world, we're pure, imagination, we're intention, we're fearless, we're passionate, we're just go-getters. We run, we explore everything, and we're completely fearless. And usually it's our environment that would change our perception of ourselves. So what I do is I help people explore their environment from their past and change the limiting beliefs that they've created about themselves by review. Now, I'm sure some of you can remember an event that might have reduced your confidence in some way or changed your perception of your world. But what I do is I'll help you review it as an adult from the now and help you change that into make it more aligned to what it is that you really, really want. So you had to review. And I loved when Albert asked me to do this book because just the title, Getting Unhacked, it's so powerful because we're all hardwired in our belief system. So unhacking, recoding, upgrading. We upgrade and everything in our lives except our minds. So I'm very passionate about this concept. I work with it. I love doing it. And it's so empowering because we all have similar fears and beliefs, and we're hardwired to keep us away from pain and move us towards pleasure. But we get caught up in the fears and the blocks of our environment. So it's so empowering just to rewrite the things that you're saying to yourself on a daily basis. So for myself, I was told in school by a teacher that I would only ever amount to a checkout gal. I believed them. I believed that teacher, and I kept myself small to avoid rejection. Now, our minds are hardwired to keep us away from pain, to keep us safe. Our minds are also hardwired to respond to what's good, what's familiar, whether it's good or bad. So getting unhacked is really about changing that narrative. You are the person that can create your book. You're the only person that has that power. So I love MLQA. I love the rules of the mind. And one of his most powerful statements is we are slaves to suggestion. Now, what is a suggestion? A suggestion is what you're telling yourself on repeat on a daily basis. So it's really important that once you understand your subconscious blocks, once you upgrade it, become unhacked, then you're able to recode, regenerate new cells on a different level. And the mind takes 21 days to form a new habit. So if you're changing the language, breaking the matrix, taking the blue pill rather than the red pill, and rehacking yourself in line with your goal and your passion, then anything is possible. So I wanted just to add that I have actually created a lovely meditation as well for you guys alongside this book, which I'd love to share with you guys. So you can email me with that and I'll send it over to you.
That's beautiful, Tina. And I totally agree with you because, I'm, in the same space in regards to, finding ways to recreate new beliefs. And my story as an author, Albert, yes, I do want to say thank you so much for thinking of me and allowing me to be part of this beautiful mission. My story really comes down to we all have storms in our lives, and there is a rainbow at the end of each storm, because if we believe that God is with us through those storms and we have the faith to go through the storm and see the rainbow, we will be guided to that. And it comes down to every letter of the rainbow really represents the inner work that we need to do in order to reach that rainbow. So the R, I will explain each letter. The R is for reconnecting to your authentic self. When you're reconnected to your core being, you're now in a different state of being. And the A is for awareness, studying, learning, being aware of what is possible. And this is how we become unhacked, because now we're learning another way, right? We're changing our perception of things. And that is through studying and becoming, going to a self-discovery stage. And we do that by using our imagination. I is for imagination, right? Because everything is first created in the imagination. Anything you look at, first it was in the mind of someone, and then it came into reality. So using our higher faculty, the imagination, is where we get to work and really create anything we want to. Like, this is where we have our potential hidden, our gifts are hidden in our imagination, and we tap into that. N is for nurturing that imagination, nurturing yourself, understanding that when we put ourselves first and we nurture our emotions and how we feel, and we really give ourselves unconditional love, this is where we begin to feel more freedom. And B is for beliefs. Like Tina said, we need to change our belief system to empowering beliefs that really put us in control, right? When we are disconnected, we lose control because we are not connected to our true authentic self. And O is for having an attitude of gratitude, being optimistic. It's so essential that anything that we do, we are grateful for what we have in order to receive more in our lives. And W is for celebrating the small wins. This is where you win. This is where you come out on top and you get unhacked, because you have done the inner work to really control your reality. And I needed to use this system in order to understand who I am and what am I capable of doing, and how can I create the life that I want. So I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to explain this. And it's also in the book because we all can do it. We're all made of the same stuff. The sun shines on everyone. And I'm just so grateful to say this and really communicate this. So thank you, everyone. And we're going to take a short commercial break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to speak to our dear friend Lefford. Okay? We'll be right back, everyone.
Now, the vast majority, approximately 95% of the people of all countries, go around and around without aim or purpose. They drift with the circumstances of life, good or bad.
A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind.
Whereas the successful individuals create their own circumstances and ride them to victory.
When you're on purpose, you're living on purpose, you will never quit if you have a real purpose.
A burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from which the dreamer must take off. But what I have done has been recorded, it's been tested, it's being taken to a free world, and it's going to benefit millions of people who are not yet born.
And it's going to benefit millions of people who are not yet born. We're some of those people. That we're spreading this to the world. As your awareness grows, the doubt is gone, so that you can manifest whatever it is your heart desires. Isn't that beautiful?
Welcome back, everyone. That is one of my favorite commercials, right? Because we know that we need to be leaders instead of drifters, right? That it's a drifter who doesn't have goals. So back to your point, Albert. That's kind of like that commercial says exactly what you were saying. So Lefford, you are next. Welcome.
Good. Hello, everyone. This is such a powerful opportunity. And Albert, like everyone else has said, thank you for bringing this together, us having an opportunity to participate. You know, one of the things I was thinking about when we came on here was everyone talks about that knowledge is power and understanding and all that's important. But what I've realized in my life is that I've had all the tools. All of us have all the tools. We have all the tools, but if you don't actually know how to use the tools, then you can find yourself lost. And that's where I found myself. And so over the years, with a lot of help and a lot of study and a lot of great people in my life, I've had an opportunity to develop a roadmap that we follow. And the roadmap that I've followed, and I'd like to share with you, is the roadmap called For Real. And it's an acrostic. The PH is the philosophy. What is your philosophy? And it's not just a study of wisdom, but my definition of philosophy is, who are you? Because if you don't know who you are, then we find ourselves in trouble. Tina talks often about the understanding of the mind, but who am I? What am I about? What do I know? And what do I do with what I know? Because again, many of us, everybody on this call, we say we know something, but we don't do what we know. And so if you're not doing what you know, you're not really living the life. So what is your philosophy? Once we figure that out, I mean, that is the start. Then the next part is the R, which is relationships. I believe that relationships matter. When you take care of your relationships take care of you. Each and every one of us on this call, we got the Alberts, the Tinas, the Ahmeds, the Johns, the Lefford, the Hindys, the Phils, the Giovannas. Because of the relationship we have, we can go much further than we ever thought possible. When I am weak, Albert is strong. When Tina needs somebody, she can call me. And when we have these people in our lives, the relationships that keep us where we need to be. Napoleon Hill often talks about the mastermind alliance, where two or more people come together towards a definite major purpose. Harmony, relationships, we can go where we never could before. So you got philosophy and relationship, but what's next? Equipping. How do we equip ourselves with the specialized knowledge to do the things that we need to do? If I want to be a coach, I best learn how to coach, right? If I want to be a father, best I learn how to be a father. If I want to be a friend, best I learn how to be a friend. So how do I equip myself to be the person that I've been designed to be? Study, relationships, the people that I know. What is it that I need to know to be the best that I can be? Dan Matthews was on a call from leader to drifter, from drifter to leader, and he was talking about this deal with the plane. Altitude, attitude. I was in the Air Force for 31 years, and there was a saying that we often use that says your attitude will determine your altitude. So what is your attitude? Is it positive or is it negative? Do you believe you can or do you believe you cannot? Hugely important. Our attitude will determine where we go. What is your attitude about you, the world, the people that are around you? Because if your attitude is right, check this, you can go anywhere you want to. But if your attitude is wrong, you can be driven down to there. So we have philosophy, we have relationships, we have equipping, we have attitude, and finally, leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything. And the most important person, Gigi, that you have to lead is yourself. We have to have the self-discipline to get up and go forth to do what we need to do. We must be able to give ourselves an order and follow that order. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Who's ultimately responsible for that? So for me, becoming unhacked is to find out who we are and to go forth. Napoleon Hill often talks about if I know what I want, if I'm willing to put in the work, if I have faith, if I got the right people in my life and I write it down and make it plain, I can have it. And so, folks, let's get unhacked for real, because you are greater than you will ever know. We just got to push past it.
I love that, Leffer. That is so beautiful. So beautiful. I know. I can have you keep continuing going.
I could do some of that.
I'll just finish with a quote of Napoleon Hill that says, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Thank you so much.
Facts.
And we're going to go to Hande. Hello, Hande. How are you?
Hi, Joanna. I'm great. Thank you.
Welcome.
And thank you so much, Joanna. And I also want to thank Albert for this amazing opportunity. Though this was my first experience. And the subject of my chapter is fear versus freedom. And even when I started to contemplate of writing this chapter, my paradigms shouted at me, what are you going to write about? Everything on this subject was written. What new perspective can you bring it? And it was such a huge struggle within myself to sit in front of the computer and start writing. But I did it. And I'm so happy and so grateful. Because when we say fear versus freedom, I had experienced so much experiences in my life that I also mentioned in that book. We all have the fears, but it is a decision. Are we going to let our fears stop us? And are we going to stay in our comfort zone? Or are we going to pass through it and reach the freedom on the other side? So, one of my experiences was about a motorcycle. So my husband wanted to have a motorcycle for years, and I stopped him because it meant being death for me. Being on a motorcycle was equal to being death for me. And he bought that motorcycle after years, and he rode it for 2 years alone. I didn't even touch that motorcycle. But after 2 years, on my birthday, he presented me with a helmet and with a jacket and wrote a note from our sons saying that, Mom, please chase more dreams without father in your new age. And this was the moment I embraced of being on a motorcycle. I bought the idea. And 3 months later, I sit for the first time on the motorcycle. We traveled for 13 hours in a day.
Wow.
And it was the most amazing experience I had. I felt the weather, I felt the sun, I felt the nature, I felt the power of the engine. I was one with the road, and it was an unforgettable experience. And I asked myself, why did I stop him and stop myself for years from that experience? And I realized that it was a mental thing. It was a mental thing. My fear was in my mind, and my decision to conquer it was also in my mind. So I realized that the fears we have, they start to shout at us when we cannot see ourselves while doing something new. And the way to conquer it is just to connect with our higher self, as Ahmed said, and just to change the narrative, as Tina mentioned. And when we do this, when we get our power back in our hands, when we align ourselves with our higher selves and we attack the fear with powerful questions, we can just change the narrative, and we can just gain the power back and move through the terror barrier and experience expansion, experience growth. And with that, of course, there's going to be new fears in our lives, but we are now more equipped, and we now know how we can go through it. We now know how we can experience that freedom. So,
Wow.
So Giovanna, how I decided to write that chapter, I said to myself, yes, so many things are written about fear, so many things are written about freedom, but none is from my perspective, none is about my experiences. And I told myself, if I can inspire only one person with my story, I'll be the happiest person in the world. So I am grateful for the opportunity.
That is so beautiful, so beautiful.
Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to share this experience with you, my friends. And thank you, Giovanna.
Thank you, Hande. And it just brings to my heart to say you chose faith over fear.
Yes.
And you experienced your experience was so phenomenal, right? Because you chose to be on the positive end, to see what can bring. You went for the unseen, and this is the best way I can say it.
I just let myself live the experience fully. I just let it, and it was amazing. Yeah,
so beautiful. And I just want to bring Lefford, if you can just make your comments, what you shared. I love for you to share with everyone, because here's another point, perspective.
And Handy, it touched me what you just said. It's been over 48 years that my mother asked me not to ride a bike. A couple that I went to school with that were killed on a motorcycle when I was 13 years old. And she made me promise never to ride a bike. And so for over 47, almost 48 years, I've had this fear of disappointing. So the fear may not be the fear of your life or loss. It could be the fear of disappointing and all that. And I just think about the years that I have not lived fully. And then I'm looking in the chat, and Ahmed is revealing the same thing. So many of us have these hidden fears in that. So I will tell you, Handy, you're not touching one person. I've noticed that you've touched several on this one message. So you are making an impact. Sister,
thank you.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And now we're going to go to John. Hello, John. Welcome.
Hello. How are you, Gigi?
Thank you. Very well. Thank you for coming.
I also want to thank Albert for inviting me into this book. This has been just an incredible process to write and to try to describe what it is that I do and why I do it. And my chapter is on the 3 Ps: passion, purpose, and profession. And every one of us here has a passion for what we do, and it's become our purpose to help other people find their purpose and find their passion and turn that into a profession. And I truly in my heart believe that when your passion becomes your purpose and your purpose becomes your profession, you'll never work another day in your life, because it becomes a labor of love. That's how I opened up my chapter. And, one of the things that we talk about, Tina mentioned it, everybody here really has mentioned it, is really about identity. Who do you truly believe yourself to be? And, Lefford had just mentioned how he didn't want to disappoint his mom. There are many things that I didn't do in my life because I had a fear of disappointing somebody else. But at the end of the day, I was really just letting myself down because I was so afraid to do something for fear of judgment, what somebody else would think of me. And that's living from the outside in, letting outside circumstances determine how I live, how I present myself, how I behave, what I say, what's acceptable, what's not. When you learn how to live from the inside out, that little voice on the inside, when you pray, that's you talking to God. But when you listen to that little inner voice, that's God talking to you. And I honestly believe that. Now, one of the things that is really important for people to understand is that there is the greatest force in the human psyche is the need to stay consistent with who you believe you are, your identity. And when you try to grow and you try something new for the first time, you get oh, I could fail. People are going to laugh at me. Do it anyway. So you fail forward, you learn. And then you'll get to a point over time where, you know what, I keep trying. I feel like I'm going backwards. I invite you to think of this as a slingshot, where sometimes you have to get pulled back in order to get propelled forward, because that's what's happening. You are in a place now where you're dealing with the fears. And that's really all it is a fear. There's 4 ways to look at something. I have to do something is coming from a place of lack, because I don't have it. I have to do this. I have to get this thing. Then you move to I get to. Get to gives you possibility. Then you say I want to. Now you've got a little bit of motivation behind you. I really want this. But when you choose to is when the action happens. And that's where you grow. And that's where sometimes you're going to fall. But you're going to fall forward because now you've got something you never had before experience. You learn how to do something. And the next time you do, it's like riding a bicycle. It's like driving a stick shift. You know, I've never been on a motorcycle in my life either. I have gone skydiving. That was jumping out of a perfectly good airplane at 14,000 feet. Let me tell you, that's gonna change your perspective on it.
I'm gonna put that on my bucket list.
But then there's a gap. This is where you are. This is where you truly want to be. And when you identify that passion, what is it you really truly want? Can it become something that you can use to help other people? Now it's a purpose.
Yeah.
And when you turn that purpose into a profession, you got it. But there's a gap. This is where you are. This is where you want to be. You want to close the gap? It's an acronym: gratitude, attitude, and persistence. Be grateful for everything you have where you are right now. Keep that attitude alive. I got this. I can do this. No matter what, I can do this. And you stick with that. You get the persistence or perseverance, whichever word you want to use. Now you got momentum and you will get where you want to go.
That's beautiful, John. Thank you so much. I'll just mention a comment that Ahmed made. It says, I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Absolutely. I love it, because when you do follow those 3 P's, you can truly do anything that you want to, for sure. I believe that. Thank you so much, John, for sharing. Hi, Phil. Oop, you're muted. You're muted.
There we are. Okay. Technical things.
How are you?
Hi, Giovanna. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be in this space with you and for everybody here. It's really such a special thing. And, you know, I was thinking of the idea, the concept of the knowing, doing gap too. And these are things that have been going on with my life. And I love to ask people, like, who's that best coach or mentor that you ever had in your life? What was it about that coach or mentor that made them special? They saw something in you that you didn't see in yourself. And to be aware that I can step into that kind of space and have an impact and help that person be that same impact down the line. That's what really makes this a special time. And, you know, I call myself a recovering drifter because I was in a family business and I was waiting for so long for things to shift and happen. And we've talked about fears, and the fear of criticism was so profound. It would keep me so stuck. When I was in college and in my 20s, I would not speak. I was in the back of the room. I was the last one into the class. And I just knew there was something different. And slowly but surely, things start unraveling. And I love this expression. So when you find yourself, you'll never be lost again. So I just kept on being persistent and moving forward, and to know that I get to join with this group at the Napoleon Hill Institute. I get to define myself by having more clarity, finding my definite major purpose. You know, it's okay to say that I'm kindness and I'm creative and enthusiastic and I love learning. And this is something that you're in an environment where, like this, everybody brings the best in everybody out. And to know that how I can apply it, because this is that gap between what I knew and I wasn't really doing. And I just really love the idea that, you know, ideas are stillborn, as Napoleon Hill talks about so often. And so those ideas, how do I tap into my creativity? How do I help others to tap into theirs so that they can achieve the things that they really want to achieve? And that is something that I've got this clarity, and it keeps on growing. And as I got into more of it, I realized there's things are happening easier and faster. I have 4 different connections that is, we have some plate spinning that is so good. I love creating masterminds with businesses and finding out how to empower all the people who are in those organizations. And, you know, the idea too, because once those empowered people, once they find themselves, they'll never be lost. I love this writing by Christian Larson, which is on my wall here, is that how can I be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble? I don't have to let those external circumstances hold me back anymore. I can step into where I want. One of my missions is really to work with people who go through change, which can appear traumatic. It could be through grief and bereavement. It could be through divorce. And it could be through even the pandemic. People are still reeling.
Sure.
We don't have to let those external circumstances get in the way, because we can tap into who we are. And if you don't have ideas, I'll borrow my ideas. I'll be the creative force with you, co-creating together. And really, I just love this work, and I want to keep on getting it out more frequently. And to be with people like you, it brings out of me more of who I am.
That's so beautiful. Thank you, Phil. Thank you so, so much. You know, there is absolutely no question about it that we're all here to serve. And when we're serving, it feels fulfillment, right? There's nothing outside of us tangible that can give us this wonderful feeling of satisfaction, of giving back, because the reason we got together here is that we all got unhacked through a mentor, through someone who believed in us, who took us by the hand and said, you can do this no matter what's in front of you, whatever circumstances you're through, no matter what your past was. Let's start right now and create a new story for your life. But the first step has to be that person to say, I'm ready, right? So we have a few more minutes. I just want to go around one more time. Give us one golden nugget that you can share that the audience can take back and really think how it could benefit and help them make that first step. What advice can you give? Albert, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think the one takeaway I want to give people is you can do all of the individual work you want to do. I was watching videos about The Secret and Bob Proctor and all the speakers in The Secret for about 8 years, and I got nowhere. The moment I got my mentor, my world changed.
So get a mentor. Absolutely.
And I started writing my first book within 30 days, and I didn't know that I had a book in me. And look where we are today.
I second that. Thank you so much. Ahmed?
Well, for me is just want whoever's watching to understand that you are the only person that you spend most of your time with. You are your greatest judge, but remember that God is just. So whatever you feel that you deserve it or not, only you can see your life as an observer. Only you can induce things and plant things into your subconscious that you may reflect it into your external world. And you know if you've done the work or not. But if you want things to change, the state must be belief. You know, as Neville Goddard said, he said, when your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it. You fuse with that idea. And he said, this union results in the activation and projection of the plots, plans, conditions, and circumstances. That new state of conscious awareness becomes your home from which you view the world, because you're the only observer of your reality that you're living in. He said, and if you're observant, you're going to see outer reality shaping itself upon the model of your imagination. But you don't see that thing happening in like an instant, in a sense. It happens in such a way that it almost goes unnoticed. It's like God's hand is in everything, preparing things for it to match harmoniously with your behavior, with your intention, and with your alignment.
Thank you, Ahmed, and that's absolutely true. Alignment is very, very important. I agree. And Tina, yes, your last tip.
I'm going to keep it very brief. I think that the key thing here is about your words are the most important words that you will ever listen to. So my advice to you is to really catch the thoughts that you're saying to yourself on a daily basis. Be kind to yourself and connect with your heart.
Beautiful, beautiful. And, for me, it's all about being authentic. Be your true self, because that is where your gifts lie. And we did it. We all have it within us to tap into our true self. It's up to you. And make a decision. Make a decision that you're ready to create a new life for yourself. And we are all here to help. And that is why we're doing this. So that is my message. Be real, right? I matched with you, Lefford. You said for real. And I'm like, be real.
Exactly. And like you just said, I'll just piggyback on yours. Make a decision and move out. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing poorly first. Nobody's perfect. And a lot of us get caught up in it's got to be perfect. We're perfect and all that. We're not that good yet. Just keep moving and it will get better over time. Life is not an event. It's an experience throughout. So let's just keep it going.
Love it. Thank you, Lefford. And Hande?
Joanna, so we all have a soul who wants to express itself through us. So my advice is to make a committed decision to grow and expand every day, to study, to know yourself, and to express yourself fully in an authentic way, and get a mentor to make it faster.
Thank you. And John, your golden nugget?
Yeah, just a reminder that, as Albert was talking about earlier, that C-type goal, that, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. When your imagination kicks in and you come up with this crazy, wild, oh, wouldn't it be great if, I'd love to do that, but that thought, that imagination is unique unto you. You're the only one who got it. Now, everybody on this panel, we're all coaches, but we don't coach the same way. We have our own unique take that we bring to the table. And that's what makes it so beautiful. So when you have that crazy idea, remember, you're the only one who's got that idea. You're the only one who can make it happen. And when you truly believe that you can, it does come back to belief. When you truly believe that you can, because what Napoleon Hill said is anything that the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. You must have both. That's why the word "and" is the most important word in that sentence. You must have both. Believe in yourself, because we do.
Beautiful, Joe. Thank you so much. Yep, I totally agree with that. Phil, what's your golden nugget?
similar to so many things that were said here. And I love the world of and both instead of either or. It's an and both, and it's an abundant world. Finding clarity, habit of making a decision, and believing. That's where it starts. It starts with belief. And I was at a expo. I talked to nearly 100 people. I went booth to booth, and I asked them, as a master connector, what's a great resource or the thing that introduction that would make this a special day for you? Everyone had a blank stare. They paid to be in a booth, yet they didn't have a goal. If we don't have a goal, how do we know what direction we're going? And if we don't know where we're going, we're just drifting. Become the lead. I love Lefford's thing. How can you go uphill with downhill habits? I love that Lefford has used recently. And
Absolutely.
you know, and to really, it's a team thing. How do we do things collaboratively? Stop the idea of competition in business and life. Let's really we're all in it together. There's a unity we all have to share together, and that's freedom. Let's be free.
Absolutely. I love that. And, you know, for myself, I have to say, until I got myself a coach and really helped me to see the other side, right? The other side that it is not in our vision. Someone has to make us aware of it, that it's there. I have a few more minutes, and one quick note of encouragement on why should people get a coach? What did a coach do for you? Albert, real quick. Give us
Make the decision to get a coach. It will be life-changing and it's transformative. Nothing happens until you make the decision.
Absolutely. Ahmed, one quick sentence. Why is it important to get a coach?
A coach can spot the blind spots where you cannot see. Even as a coach, everybody has blind spots. So I always surround myself with coaches, even till this day, because they can see something which I'm not aware of, and they can shed an extra awareness for me.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Tina. Yes.
A coach can help you unlock your limiting beliefs and flip them into the positive and give you a new perspective.
Super, super. I love you. I believe in that 100%. Lefford, yes.
Be coachable. You can have a million coaches, but if you're not coachable, you're not going to learn or do anything. So be coachable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hande?
So my coach was Bob Proctor, and I always felt that there was a pipeline from his mind to my mind, and it speeded up everything for me. And I'm so grateful for having him as my coach and mentor.
So beautiful. So
it's
beautiful.
The transformation of wisdom.
I will never forget that man. Oh. Yeah. John?
Higher order thinking. That's what coaching gave to me. It taught me how to think differently. Because of the habits that I had, I was only able to think one way based on my experiences. And those thoughts got me exactly where I was, which is where I did not want to be. I had to learn how to do something different, learn how to think differently. That's one of the blessings that a coach can give you, is to show you a different perspective and get you out of your own way.
Beautiful, beautiful. Because if we want to see different results in our life, we must do something different.
Yes.
Right? We cannot repeat the same thing. So look at the results we are getting. It's because you're hacked. It's time to get unhacked.
Yeah.
Right? Phil, one more time, or one more thought. Just one quick, why is a coach important? What did a coach do for you?
Yeah, all of this, ditto. Plus, it's
it.
information that's intelligently directed and professionally organized. It brings us to some place that it's a roadmap. It hits the ground running, and we move forward together.
Beautiful. And Lefford, I left you for last accidentally, but I think it was meant to be. So go ahead and bring it to a landing.
I think I did, but
you did? It was so good. I forgot it.
Get a coach and be coachable, and you'll move forward.
So true. So open your mind to know that there is a way for you to get out of your way. And it takes a first step, first decision. And I know each and every one of us here we did exactly that, and our life has changed forever. And we now know the gifts that we bring to this world, because we can't keep those gifts to ourselves. So we're here to tell you that we're here to serve, to show you the gifts that you have locked within you so that you can get unhacked. Everyone, thank you. Thank you for coming. I feel your energy and your love that you emanated to my audience, and I am forever grateful. And we will see you next time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. And,
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me on Sparking Change with Gigi. I hope that our episode today has ignited a spark within you to create positive change in your own life and in the world around you. To learn more about how you can become a guest or supporter, head over to sparkingchangenow.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content that sparks change in each of us and the world. You can find us on various platforms, including Google Play Store, Apple App Store, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to having you join me again next week on Sparking Change with Gigi.